What up, cuz?
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another tech review video. It's been about almost 3 weeks since I did my last one and I just felt like doing another one. Today we're going to be doing a tech review on the iPhone 6, which is currently my main driver. How does it hold up in 2019? So first off, you'll probably notice that the screen is cracked as well as the frame's all scratched up. I did not do that. Well, the cracked screen, yes, but the phone was already scratched like that when I got it. I didn't find it to be a huge deal. Other than that, the phone works fine except for the home button doesn't work, but Touch ID works fine and everything else works okay. So the iPhone 6 was released in 2014, which is already 5 years ago, and it was a great marketing choice. For years, people wanted the much bigger screen on an iPhone, and Apple entered this with the iPhone 6. And it sold massively well, with it becoming the world's best-selling smartphone with over 220 million units sold. That's crazy. You could tell how many people really wanted the bigger screen on the iPhone, and it was a great marketing choice. So the first thing you'll notice about the iPhone 6 when you pick it up is how light and thin it is. This is probably the lightest and thinnest iPhone ever, and while it is super comfortable to use, durability-wise it has aged really bad. So with the big screen, they needed the iPhone 6 to be as light and thin as possible, and that was a horrible idea because it led to a multitude of issues, with the biggest one being bendgate. Yeah, you heard that right, this phone bends. The 6 Plus is especially easy to damage, and because of that, the iPhone 6 has aged the worst when it comes to durability, although mine has held up surprisingly well, I guess, except for maybe the scratched frame and cracked screen. So here you have two size options, the regular 4.7-inch version and the bigger 5.5-inch iPhone 6 Plus. I have here the 4.7-inch model, which comes at a resolution of 1334 by 750 and a pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. If you don't know what this means, then that's fine. All I can tell you is that everything on the screen looks crisp and clear, you don't have to worry about any visible pixels, and it's definitely acceptable by 2019 standards. Battery life on the smaller iPhone 6 isn't great, and that's because most of them have been heavily used over the last couple years. The battery size at 1810 mAh. It's fair to say with moderate to heavy use, you probably will need to recharge it during the day, unless you have one with a decent battery. The iPhone 6 Plus, on the other hand, is kind of a beast when it comes to battery life. The battery size at 2915 mAh. This should easily last you a day with moderate to heavy use, and from my experience when I used to own an iPhone 6 Plus, I didn't have many complaints. Right below the screen, we have the home button with first generation Touch ID, which is significantly fast, as well as the lightning port and look, a headphone jack, something newer iPhones don't have nowadays. The camera on the iPhone 6 is actually pretty good. Not impressive by all means, but it's still good enough to get you by. The rear has 8 megapixels and the ability to shoot video in 1080p at 60 frames per second. This was the first iPhone that has 60 frames per second video recording, so gotta give it props to that. And pictures on here actually look pretty good, and this camera has aged well, with it still being used in newer iPads and even the newest iPod Touch. The front-facing camera is mediocre at best, with only 1.2 megapixels and the ability to shoot video 720p at 30 frames per second. Selfies look okay, but not amazing. Again, they'll be good enough for Snapchat and FaceTime, and this camera still holds up very well in 2019. And now I'll go ahead and put some photo examples for you to see for yourself. This is being filmed on the iPhone 6 in 1080p at 60 frames per second. And it looks really good, like actually pretty good. Although it could be better, but still it's not bad. Sorry for all the beeping, that's garbage trucks. Moving to the internals, the iPhone 6 is actually not that bad in 2019. It holds Apple's A8 chipset and 1GB of RAM. It can run up to the latest version of iOS, specifically iOS 12.3.1. That's right, an iPhone from 2014 can run the latest version of iOS. No Android phone this old will get you 3 years of support. It's crazy how Apple supports their phones for that long, and even surprisingly that the phones are actually decent. Like the iPhone 6 for example, it's decent on iOS 12. It isn't amazing by all means, battery life isn't great, there's definitely lag here and there, but it's decent. It'll be able to handle almost anything you throw at it. When it comes to app support, you can download any app and almost any game. With some you can't download like Fortnite, but to most people that's not going to be a huge deal. That said, the iPhone 6's days are almost over, with it not going to be receiving iOS 13 come this September. To most people, that was really disappointing because the iPhone 5S that was released a year before got an extra year's support with iOS 12, and you would expect that the 6 should get iOS 13, but this wasn't the case. And the reason for that is because the iPhone 6 is barely any faster than the iPhone 5S. That single gigabyte of RAM just isn't enough anymore. iOS 11 kinda slowed down the iPhone 5S and 6, but luckily they got better with iOS 12, and to be honest, if the iPhone 6 got iOS 13, it would be brutally unusable, and that's something Apple's trying to avoid, like failures like the iPad 2 on iOS 9, as well as other devices with an A5 chipset. I'll have a future tech review on the iPad 2 in the next week or so stay tuned for that. But back on topic, the state the iPhone 6 is in right now is not too bad. It's decent, and the iPhone 6 not getting iOS 13 is actually a good thing because it will end on a good software. iOS 12 is a good software. It's fast, stable, and not buggy like iOS 11. So would I recommend to buy this device? No. While they do go as cheap as $100 on eBay.com, for the same price you could buy a used iPhone SE, or for not much more money, you can buy an iPhone 6s. Those devices are going to be way faster, have better cameras, and will last support for much longer until at least 2021 or 2022. Mind you, if you still have an iPhone 6 right now, you'll probably be fine for a couple of more months. They're definitely going to start aging soon, and it might be a good time to upgrade. If you are looking to upgrade from the 6, your best choices would be the iPhone 8 or the iPhone XR. Alright, and on that note, I think I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Luckily, this didn't take me that long to edit like the last one. The last tech review only took me like 6 hours to edit. This one just took me 2.5 hours. And that's probably because down there where I was, I had a slower Wi-Fi connection, and here at home I have a faster connection. I hope to make more tech reviews sooner in the future. I'll have a couple ones out in the next week or so, hopefully. And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.